Oh, come in, come in. Oh, come in. Ah, nice to see you. Well, you see, I'm home again, and you'll guess from my having taken out one of these churchwarden pipes. It's a rather nice Italian one, this, a rocker. But I thought it might be nice to dip into some Tolkien again. We haven't done that for a while. One of the great things about when you're really familiar with a book, as I am, and we both are with The Lord of the Rings, you can take it up anywhere. You can dip into it anywhere, and you will immediately find, something good. You'll find solace, and you'll find some wisdom. And you'll have all the pleasures of recognition and anticipation. So actually, just before you arrived, I was dipping in to The Two Towers, the middle book. I don't know why this one isn't drawing so well. I haven't smoked it for a long time, this particular pipe. Perhaps I just packed the tobacco a bit too loosely. Anyway, this is the middle volume. When I opened it, almost at random, and came upon a really favourite episode, and it's a wonderful piece of kind of literary teasing by Tolkien, really. It's the encounter with they know not whom, but they guess darkly, when the three hunters, as they call themselves, Aragorn and Gimli and Legolas, have pursued the orcs who are taking Merry and Pippin to torment, no doubt, in Isengard, as they fear, because Sauruman has sort of turned traitor. And they're just in the eaves of Fangorn Forest, and they start to see this figure clad in grey rags, and they fear, of course, that it may be Sauruman in disguise. So, suddenly they see a movement in the woods. "Hush, speak more softly. Look," said Legolas, pointing. "Down in the wood, back in the way we have just come. It is he! Cannot you see him, passing from tree to tree?" I see now," hissed Gimli. "Look, Aragorn, did I not warn you? There is the old man, all in dirty grey rags. That's why I could not see him at first." Aragorn looked and beheld a bent figure moving slowly. It was not far away. It looked like an old beggar-man, walking wearily, leaning on a rough staff. His head was bowed, and he did not look towards them. In other lands, they would have greeted him with kind words. Now they stood silent, each feeling a strange expectancy. Something was approaching that held a hidden power or menace. Gimli gazed with wide eyes for a while as step by step the figure drew nearer. Then suddenly, unable to control himself any longer, he burst out, "Your bow, Legolas! Bend it! Get ready! It is Sauruman! Do not let him speak or put a spell on us! Shoot first!" Legolas took his bow and bent it, slowly, as if some other will resisted him. He held an arrow loosely in his hand, but did not fit it to the string. Aragorn stood silent. His face was watchful and intent. "Why are you waiting? What is the matter with you?" said Gimli in a hissing whisper. "Legolas is right," said Aragorn quietly. "We may not shoot an old man so, at unawares and unchallenged, whatever fear or doubt be on us. Watch and wait." It's a wonderful moment there of, proper honour and, if you like, chivalry in war. And it's a good principle that you don't shoot unawares and unchallenged, a stranger and, an old man bent. It's a simple law of warfare that some armies in this world could do well to remember, but here it is. They're taking a risk, but even amidst risk, there are rules. At that moment, the old man quickened his pace and came with surprising speed to the foot of the rock wall. Then suddenly he looked up, and while they stood motionless looking down, there was no sound. They could not see his face. He was hooded, and above the hood he wore a wide-brimmed hat, so that all his features were overshadowed, except for the end of his nose and his grey beard. Yet it seemed to Aragorn that he caught the gleam of eyes keen and bright from within the shadow of the hooded brows. At last the old man broke the silence. "Well met indeed, my friends," he said in a soft voice. "I wish to speak with you. Will you come down, or shall I come up?" Without waiting for an answer, he began to climb. "Now!" cried Gimli. "Stop him, Legolas!" "Did I not say that I wished to speak to you?" said the old man. "Put away that bow, Master Elf." The bow and arrow fell from Legolas's hands, and his arms hung loose at his sides. "And you, Master Dwarf, pray take your hand from your axe haft till I am up. You will not need such arguments." Gimli started and then stood still as stone, staring, while the old man sprang up the rough steps as nimbly as a goat. All weariness seemed to have left him. As he stepped up and onto the shelf, there was a gleam, too brief for certainty, a quick glint of white, as if some garment shrouded by the grey rags had been for an instant revealed. The intake of Gimli's breath could be heard as a loud hiss in the silence. That's brilliant. "Well met, I say again," said the old man, coming towards them. When he was a few feet away, he stood, stooping over his staff, with his head thrust forward, peering at them from under his hood. "And what may you be doing in these parts? An elf, a man, and a dwarf, all clad in elvish fashion. No doubt there's a tale worth hearing behind it all. Such things are not often seen here." "You speak as one that knows Fangorn well," said Aragorn. "Is that so?" Bit of a test question, because of course Isengard, where Sauruman is on the eaves of Fangorn. "Not well," said the old man. "That would be the study of many lives. But I come here now and again." "Might we know your name and then hear what it is you have to say to us?" said Aragorn. "The morning passes and we have an errand that will not wait." "As for what I wish to say, I have said it. What may you be doing, and what tale can you tell of yourselves? As for my name—" He broke off, laughing softly. Aragorn felt a shudder run through him at the sound, a strange, cold thrill, and yet it was not fear or terror that he felt. Rather, it was like the sudden bite of a keen air, or the slap of a cold rain that wakes an uneasy sleeper. Brilliant. "My name," said the old man again. "Have you not guessed it already? You have heard it before, I think. Yes, you have heard it before. But come now, what of your tale?" The three companions stood silent and made no answer. "There are some who would begin to doubt whether your errand is fit to tell," said the old man. "Happily, I know something of it. You are tracking the footsteps of two young hobbits, I believe." "Yes, hobbits. Don't stare as if you'd never heard the strange name before. You have, and so have I. Well, they climbed up here the day before yesterday, and they met someone they did not expect. Does that comfort you? And now you would like to know where they were taken. Well, maybe I can give you some news about that. But why are we standing? Your errand, you see, is no longer as urgent as you thought. Let us sit down and be more at ease." The old man turned away and went towards a heap of fallen stones and rock at the foot of the cliff. Immediately, as if a spell had been removed, the others relaxed and stirred. Gimli's hand went at once to his axe shaft. Aragorn drew his sword. Legolas picked up his bow. The old man took no notice, but stooped and sat himself on a low flat stone. Then his grey cloak drew apart, and they saw beyond doubt that he was clothed beneath, all in white. "Sauruman!" cried Gimli, springing towards him with axe in hand. "Speak! Tell us where you have hidden our friends. What have you done with them? Speak, or I will make a dint in your hat that even a wizard will find it hard to deal with." The old man was too quick for him. He sprang to his feet and leapt to the top of a large rock. There he stood, grown suddenly tall, towering above them. His hood and his grey rags were flung away. His white garments shone. He lifted up his staff, and Gimli's axe leapt from his grasp and fell ringing to the ground. The sword of Aragorn, still motionless in his hand, blazed with a sudden fire. Legolas gave a great shout and shot an arrow high into the air. It vanished in a flash of flame. "Mithrandir!" he cried. "Mithrandir!" "Well met, I say to you again, Legolas," said the old man. They all gazed at him. His hair was white as snow in the sunshine. The gleaming white was his robe. The eyes under his deep brows were bright, piercing as the rays of the sun. Power was in his hand. Between wonder, joy, and fear they stood and found no words to say. At last Aragorn stirred. "Gandalf," he said, "beyond all hope you returned to us in our need. What veil was over my sight? Gandalf." Gimli said nothing, but sank to his knees, shading his eyes. "Gandalf," the old man repeated, as if recalling from old memory a long disused word. "Yes, that was the name. I was Gandalf." Absolutely wonderful. It's so brilliant because all the way until finally that last moment of revelation, it could be Saruman. And Tolkien, I remember when I first read it thinking, oh my goodness, they've fallen into the clutches of Saruman. And then the sheer joy, the eucatastrophe, as Tolkien would say, the great, the good catastrophe, when suddenly, which is the, if you like, resurrection, it's kind of, and it's really, I mean, there's no sort of thinly veiled allegory or Christian allegory, anything like that in these books, but there are moments of resonance, shall we say, and it's really interesting that they meet, he meets them, he talks with them, he asks what's on their side, his presence is veiled from them, and then when they finally see him, Aragorn says, "What veil was on my side?" And their hearts are filled with joy. And for readers of Luke, those are all elements of what it was for the disciples when Christ met them on the road, but they didn't know it was him. And it's just not a very oblique, because the touching chord, the resonance is, if you like, eucatastrophe, resurrection. But I love that passage, and it falls almost randomly open to my eyes. But you could open these 3 volumes anywhere and find something like that, just to bring you a little joy on a dull evening. Anyway, lovely to see you. I'm glad to be back home, and we'll meet again fairly soon. Cheers.